our regular council, our special called city council meeting. We call this meeting because our regular meeting comes on Thanksgiving, so we moved it up to a special meeting so we didn't have to be here on Thanksgiving Day. I'm afraid that Kent might be here all by himself. But anyway, at this time I ask that you mute your phones, and this is for YouTube, you know, so the people at home, they can't hear y'all out there, your questions, they can't see y'all, but it's on there for them to see who you are, what the questions are. That way if they have any questions, they can call us. Now if y'all, I just want to say thank y'all very much again for being here, and I have something to say. If you have not signed in, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I know I talk loud, but for YouTube, I have to talk in this thing. If you have not signed in, please do so. This is for our records here at City Hall. Also, if you would like to address the council, please come to the mic, state your name and your question or your opinion. If for some reason you can't walk to the mic, we will bring a mic to you. If you have a question, you need to do this, please, because it is for the citizens at home that could not come. So this is how they know who you are. They know what the question is. They don't just need to hear our answer. They need to know who it was and what the question was. We are going to try our best also to close and clear City Hall within 5 minutes of adjournment tonight. We welcome you to stay outside and visit as long as you want. Sorry for any inconvenience. We are all tired after the meeting and want to go home. We are planning to do this at every meeting. Thank you from the employees of Bruceville-Eddy. Okay, now if y'all would please stand for a prayer. Lord God, I pray that you will bless this meeting. Help us have fun. Your productive discussion that will broaden our ways to extend our listening and learning skills. Help us to take the various ideals, present, and think of ways to fresh them out. If you do disagree, let it be on the contents and not personality conflicts or power plays. Help us to resolve any disputes gracefully. Be problem solvers and have great team spirit. Help us to find principles that we all can agree on and put these into action. God, we also ask that you protect our first responders and the city workers that work hard for the city of Bruceville-Eddy every day. I ask that you let our actions in this meeting be valuable to our aim, which is to build up in such a way as to improve and enlighten one another. I ask for all these things in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Please continue standing for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, and one indivisible. Thank you. You may have a seat. Our roll call to my left here, I have Councilman Griffith, Councilman Prater, and Councilman Bass. And to my left, I have Councilman Wiggins and Councilman McGruer and our city administrator, Kent Manton. We have Pat Combs back there in the back running the computer. She is also our city secretary. And we also have our chief, Michael Dorsey, and Thomas Arnold, our code enforcer / dog catcher / bottle washer. We also have Gene Sprout. He is in charge of the water and our maintenance. And we have Mr. Tabor and Glenn. Chris. I get it right. It's G, right? G, Chris, Glenn. Okay, Chris and Mr. Tabor here for our engineers. Okay, is there anyone I missed? Okay, that's it. All right. So now we're going to have a mayoral proclamation. You want to come with me?
Me?
You want to come with me, sir?
On behalf of Mayor Owens, I would like to state this proclamation of the City of Bruceville-Eddy, recognizing Councilman Bass for his service to our community. Whereas Mr. Conley Bass has been a resident of the City of Bruceville-Eddy for 40 years, and whereas Mr. Conley Bass and his wife have been local business owners for 25 years, successfully managing Eddy Self-Storage. And whereas Mr. Bass began his time of service on the City of Bruceville-Eddy City Council in 2009, being elected first as council member at large before being elected as mayor in 2016. And whereas we express our appreciation to Conley Bass and honor him for his distinguished 14 years of service to the City of Bruceville-Eddy and to the citizens thereof. And whereas we want to express our sincere appreciation to Conley Bass for his loyalty to the City of Bruceville-Eddy and wish him much happiness as he begins this exciting new chapter in his life. Now, therefore, Mayor Owens does hereby recognize and honor the outstanding efforts of Mr. Conley Bass's service to our community, and we hereby present this proclamation thereto. Furthermore, I encourage all residents and employees to join me and the City Council in congratulating Mr. Bass for an outstanding tenure with the City of Bruceville-Eddy and wishing him many years of continued happiness and good health. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Bruceville-Eddy to be placed upon this document, Texas, on this 15th day of November 2023.
On behalf of his years here, I present to Mayor Conley Bass in appreciation for his 14 years of dedication, service, and outstanding leadership to the City of Bruceville-Eddy. Family, would y'all like to be up here?
Let's get in there.
Go kiss you, but I'll
You'll shake his hand. No kisses. Oh, can y'all pass me my eyes? I appreciate you. Thank you.
Look who's bucking for a raise.
I tell you. He's working it, isn't he? Okay, now I'm asking for any community announcements. Do we have anybody that has any community announcements? Mrs. McGruer.
Our church is going to offer cookies and pictures with Santa on December 16th in our sanctuary from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then you can come and have your pictures taken with Santa and decorate cookies and eat them afterwards if you choose. And then we're also going to try doing a Christmas cookie fundraiser. So if you don't want to bake cookies but you love Christmas cookies, we are going to offer a dozen cookies for $10. If you want flyers, see me. I have flyers to hand out. I've got one posted here, and Mr. Manton said he would post on Civic Citizen. It's Bruceville-Eddy United Methodist Church.
Yeah, thank you. And I understand that Mr. Grinch might be there?
Oh, if Mr. Grinch wants to come,
Yeah,
he'd
I
be more
think
than
so.
welcome.
He's already been told to be there.
What church is it?
Bruceville-Eddy United Methodist Church.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
That's what
Anybody else has any more announcements? Kent, do you have any?
Yes, ma'am, just two. Just as a reminder, the city offices will be closed for Thanksgiving next week, the 23rd and the 24th. And then next month, we have moved the December regular scheduled city council meeting to the 21st as a special called council meeting, just to make sure we're not conflicting with the Christmas holiday.
All right. Anyone else have any announcements they'd like to put something for church? Okay. All right. Now we have citizens presentation. The City Council welcomes public comments at this point on Items not specifically listed on the agenda. Speakers must sign up before the meeting begins. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes each. The council cannot respond to matters not listed on the agenda until a future meeting. Do we have anybody signed up, Ms. Pam? Okay, we're moving right along. Number 4, canvassing of general election. Council to hear the reading of the official election results as certified by McLennan County Election Department and approval by the McLennan County Commissioners Court. Kent?
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a resolution certifying the election results for the mayor, 2 full-term council member seats, and 2 sales and use tax increase propositions held in the city of Bruceville-Eddy, Texas on November 7th, 2023, and ordaining other provisions relating to the subject matter thereof. Whereas the city of Bruceville-Eddy held their municipal election on November 7th, 2023 for the 2023-2025 terms of the mayor and 2 city council seats. And whereas the city of Bruceville-Eddy had their municipal election on November 7th, 2023 for the adoption of 2 sales and use tax increase propositions. Now therefore be it ordained by the city council of the city of Bruceville-Eddy that the mayor or her representative at a special call meeting held on November 15th, 2023 did canvass and announce the election results and found as follows, that pursuant to the applicable provisions of the Texas Election Code, the canvassing board certifies that the following are true and correct results of the November 7th, 2023 general election. That said election was duly called, that notice of said election was given in accordance with the law, and that the canvass of the votes cast in said elections and returns thereof were made in accordance with the law. Pursuant to the resolution of the city of Bruceville-Eddy and applicable provisions of the Texas Election Code, number 1, Mayor Linda Owens, having received a majority of votes cast for a total of 131, is hereby certified to be elected as mayor of the city of Bruceville-Eddy and shall commence her term of office upon adoption of this resolution and swearing to the oath of office as required by law. 2, City Council Richard Prater, having received a majority of votes cast totaling 124, is hereby certified to be elected to the City Council of the city of Bruceville-Eddy and shall commence his term of office upon adoption of this resolution and the swearing to the oath of office as required by law. 3, City Council Joyce McLaughlin, having received a majority of votes cast for a total of 84, is hereby certified to be elected to the City Council of the city of Bruceville-Eddy and shall commence her term of office upon adoption of this resolution and the swearing to the oath of office as required by law. 4, Proposition 1, having received a majority of votes cast for a total of 92, Proposition 1 is hereby certified to be adopted in the city of Bruceville-Eddy and shall commence upon proper filing with the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts as required by law. Proposition 2, having received a majority of votes cast for a total of 103, Proposition 2 is hereby certified to be adopted in the city of Bruceville-Eddy and shall commence upon proper filing with the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts as required by law. Section 2, the city administrator of the city of Bruceville-Eddy is hereby authorized to cause the caption of this resolution to be published in a newspaper having general circulation in Bruceville-Eddy, McLennan County, Texas. Section 3, we do not need to read. Considered, passed, and approved this 15th day of November 2023 at a meeting of the City Council of the city of Bruceville, Texas, at which a quorum of at least 3 members of council as required by the Texas election laws was present and which was held in accordance with Chapter 551 Texas Government Code.
Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action to officially canvass the results of the November 7th, 2023 general election for the 2023-2025 term of 1 mayor seat, 2 council seats, and the called election for 2 ballot positions. Mr. Wiggins, Councilman Wiggins.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 11-15-2023-3.
Do I have a second? Okay, Mr. Bass seconds that. Last official. All in favor? All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. All right. Now, number 5, swearing in of early election council members. Mayor Linda Owens will be sworn in, re-elected Councilman Richard Prater, and newly elected Councilman Joyce McLaughlin. gotta swear me in first.
Last official. Been a joy, I can tell you that.
Microphone.
I, Linda Owens, do solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offer or promised to pay, contributed or promised to contribute any money of things of value, or promise any public office or employment for the giving of withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God. Okay, you gotta do the next one.
We got the oath of officer too.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I, Linda Owens,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear.
that I will faithfully execute the
No,
duties
that's a
of...
different one.
No, that's what you gave me.
Did you get two on that?
This one. No. Do you know what I'm saying?
We done the statement of officers. Get me straight, Pam.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of...
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of mayor
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the constitutional laws
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws
of the United States, of this state, so help me God.
of the United States, of this state, so help me God. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. That's it. All right.
Mr. Prater.
Mr. Prater, if you'll come down here, and then Joyce, you'll come down here also. We'll do both of them at the same time. And you will please repeat after me. We're going to do the, I love my arthritic fingers. I can't do anything. The statement of officers. I do solemnly swear that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed or contributed or promised to contribute any money or things of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which I was elected, or as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help me God. Okay. I forgot to ask you to raise your hands, but holding it and raising your hands, two different things. I've found that out. It's not as easy as it looks. Okay, now for the oath of office, please repeat after me. I so solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of of the state of Texas, and will to my best of my ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Thank y'all. We may have a hand for our councilman, please. Y'all need to sign that.
You did good, Richard.
Okay, now at this time, Mr. Bass, where'd he go? Okay. All right, would you like to give your seat to Joyce? Are you willing to give your seat up to Joyce McLaughlin? Okay, Joyce, come on up here and sit by Mr. Prater.
Hey, Kent, why don't you give that to Conley?
Yes, ma'am. And we have a temporary nameplate for you,
Okay,
but we'll get the original in a few weeks.
okay.
It takes a
Thank you.
little while for them to make it.
Thank you.
You can adjust it however you want to do it. All right, number 6, Police Chief Report, Chief Michael Dorsey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone, and I want to give a welcome to all our citizens and guests tonight. Thank you all for being here. Wanted to start off with our police department report from October of 2023. So for the month, calls for service, we had 118 reports to include arrest, offense, and incident. Total of
Hang on a second.
Let's give him a standing
Yeah.
ovation.
Let's give up Mr. Bass. Family, we love you. I know you're not, so you're going home, so thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Honey,
sir.
you done good. For 14 years,
Give Freda our
citizens love you. Thank you.
wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggins.
Okay, for the month of October, we had 118 calls for service. Reports to include arrest, offense, and incident were 16. Total of 9 crash reports. Citations and warnings total 188. 68 citations, 120 warnings. Our other activities for the month, we had 151 security checks, 32 school zone enforcement, 68 neighborhood patrols, and 60 directed traffic enforcement. Then also in my report, I have the call type report breakdown and then the citations and warnings breakdown for the month. All right, moving on to our school resource officer report, Officer Steiner. There is one correction to make. The citations total got mixed into the arrests. So for the month of October, calls for service 12, security checks 93, 4 citations. It should be 1 arrest, not 5. And then canine check is 1. And then there's also a call type breakdown for the month as well. Also just wanted to congratulate Mr. Bass and thank him for his service, and may God bless him in his retirement. And it was a pleasure working with him, and congratulations to Mr. Prater and Ms. McLaughlin, and look forward to working with y'all and making great things happen.
Thank you.
I'll see y'all in a little bit.
Does anyone have any questions for the chief? All right. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate you. Okay. Now our Public Works Director's report, Gene. And he's not feeling real well, so
No, so after I get through, I'm leaving.
he's gone.
So we have ordered 8 totes within the last month for asphalt. And 6 of them are out there on Eagle Drive. Out. So I will order some more. We'll start patching some more, but right now, the holes are everywhere. And I know it, and we're working on it. We're gonna get back over to Pine and regrade it if we can. and, just continue trying to make it happen until we can get streets redone. Anybody got anything for me?
But I'm going to say something. The citizens appreciate everything that y'all do, and I know the school, the transportation over there, they're very pleased with the tree limbs and stuff, and I know y'all been patching very hard, trying to get all of the holes patched because of all the rain and stuff
Right.
we had.
You
So
know,
we appreciate
When it's
y'all
raining,
very
we
much.
can't get out there and do it when it's raining. I mean, we
Amen.
have.
Yes, sir. But we appreciate everything y'all do.
Thank
I
you.
just want y'all to know that.
Thank you.
Mr.
But, yeah.
Prater?
No,
Oh, okay. He's just saying, he just made a statement, yes.
Thank you, Gene,
Yeah.
for y'all especially taking care of that Eagle Drive. Thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Let me get I covered it up with the report. Okay, engineers report. Mr. Tabor, Johnny Tabor.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations to the Mayor and the new council members
Thank you.
on being elected. I had sent a report, and we're really getting down close to getting some numbers in hand for the wastewater project. So in the event that there's some questions that I can answer tonight, I will, but I have the report here in front of me. This is for the USDA Rural Development New Wastewater System. Bid advertisements. This is an advertisement for bidders to submit a bid for the construction of the new wastewater plant. Will be published in the Waco Tribune Herald on November 21st, 2023 and November 28th, 2023. There's a state law that says that if any city is receiving bids for a project that exceeds some amount of money, I think it's $50,000, but this is going to be way over that, you must publish an advertisement for the bids in a newspaper of general circulation in the region. They got to be 7 days apart and can't be any less than 15 days after the first publication. And we're more than 15 days, we're about 4 weeks. So that's the official thing we're doing. And then the plans and specifications and bid documents will be listed and available on CivCast, their website, civcastusa.com, for public viewing and downloading at no charge beginning November 21st, 2023. CivCast USA is a virtual plan room that allows users to view, download, and print documents for bidding projects. And it is nationwide. So we have found that that is the best source to get bids from contractors, not just in this local area, but nationwide. Now, understand that if somebody from Michigan bids on the project, they're required to comply with Texas law for their bids. So their insurance and bonds have to be approved by the Texas Insurance Board. So there's some restrictions, but nonetheless, they have an opportunity. And I will tell you this, I've had a project before that was about like this one, that a contractor came out of Michigan and was a low bidder, and he did it so he could move to Texas. So, I'm just saying.
That's one way of getting here.
It is, and make a little money, pay for your moving expense. We will open bids for 5 separate contracts for the new wastewater system on Tuesday, December the 19th at 11 o'clock at the Bruceville-Eddy ISD Special Event Center, and the city manager made the arrangements for that. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
The 5 contracts will be a new wastewater treatment plant. The second one will be a new wastewater collection system. The third one will be new lift stations. The fourth one, street repair. And the fifth one is customer sewer lines. So I'm here if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Do we have any questions for the engineer?
I have one.
Okay, Mr.
So we could have 5 different contractors?
You will have, it's possible that a contractor that bids on the collection system, for instance, might bid on the lift stations, but it will be 2 separate bids, and they will each be tabulated separately. So we're gonna end up with bidders in every category, so we can pick the best, lowest and best bid that you get.
5 different bids.
5 different bids. So, yeah, it's most likely that we'll have 5 different ones. And the reason is because each one of these are a different contractor. And my plan from the beginning of this was that the city would get the most for your money if you did not pay the markups of a general contractor subbing out lift stations, for instance, to the
Another
contractors
contractor.
that do that. So and plumbers that do the service lines, and all the other things. So
Yeah.
it seems.
Just go straight to the middleman.
Yeah, we go straight to the guys that build this stuff.
Okay, Mr. Prater? Councilman Prater?
On these contracts, what kind of timeline are we putting on them people to get this done?
Well, we can put any timeline we wanted to. We can put 30 days, but it ain't gonna happen. What we've done in the contracts that we have put out is they have about a year, 365 days if it's not leap year, to complete their work. And all of them have the same time. And the reason is because they're all connected. So the wastewater plant builder can get through with his plant pretty early, but he's not gonna have any wastewater to put in it till the collection system finishes. So all of this stuff kind of is like a tree. You gotta have all parts of it to make it work.
I just didn't want them coming here and 5 years later, we're still waiting for pipe in the ground.
No,
I just wanted to know if there was a certain time limit.
there is a time, and there's a liquidated damage time that's connected to that.
Okay.
And I can't remember as I'm standing here whether it's $1,000 or $2,500 a day.
A day.
But it's enough to make them want to get through with it.
And that's a year, 365 days after the bid is awarded.
That's right.
Okay.
So if we take bids and it takes 45 days to actually make the award, it's actually a little longer than that. We award it to them, and then there's about 30 or 45 days worth of contract work. They got to get their bonds and insurance, and it's got to be approved by USDA. So and we will issue them a notice to proceed that says
Could be 3 to 4.
10 days from this date is your date to proceed. And that is when the time starts counting.
Okay, good deal.
Councilman Wiggins?
On that customer sewer lines, Johnny, as you know, when we talked about this, one of the things was to have the sewer line go from the main and hook up at the customer's residence, I'll say. And then we talked about backfilling in or pumping out the septic and backfilling that in. Is that part of this customer sewer line?
We will have a bid for that. We will have a bid for the service lines. It'll be a per foot based on how deep they are. We will have a bid for demolition, abandonment, and closing their septic tank. And it will include connection to the house.
Okay, that clarifies that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Mr. McGurr? Councilman McGurr?
You said that this is going to have me on this mic.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You said that it's got to go back through USDA because that seemed to be a dam in the process.
So this is kind of like, think of USDA as the bank, okay? So you decide to go out and build a house. You talk to the bank, say, hey, we'd like you to do this. We want you to finance. And they say, okay. And then you go get your contractor. He gives you a price and a floor plan. Then they don't just dump the money to you. You got to go back to the bank, and you got to get their approval that the contractor has appropriate liability insurance and all that. This is the same way. They are the bank for the city.
So essentially, then, what you're saying is the 1 year process isn't going to happen until after
3 to 4 months after the bid.
after USDA releases the funds.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And that could take up to a year.
I don't know. I frankly have seen that happen in about 30 days.
Okay.
But I have also seen some circumstances because there was not enough money in the original award, which I think we have the situation here, that they had to go get some more money, and there had to be some other legal documents signed to make arrangements for the rest of the money, and it took 60 to 75 days.
Okay. So could be 75 days. We're not talking another 365 days for USDA to handle it.
No, and one of the things, when you go out for bids and you ask contractors to bid on a project, as you can imagine, they don't want to hand you a price and say, oh yeah, anytime in the next couple of years will be fine if you want to award it to me. And if you do that, the price is going to be sky high because they don't know what the prices are going to be when they finally get the award. So the bid always includes a mandatory length of time that their bid has to be good for. It's typically 30 days, but in this case, it's 60 days, and that's required by USDA. They're the ones that said when you get your contractor bids, those bids have to be good for 60 days. So they know, USDA Rural Development knows in advance, they got 60 days to get this done. If you need more money, whether it's $20,000 or $200,000, whatever the number is. So they know there's a clock ticking.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Manton, you had a question? You got it answered, okay? Mr. Prater, Councilman?
It has to do with these railroad permits. We had to renew the railroad permits.
Yes?
And from what I understand, if we would have done it in the right time frame, it wouldn't have cost us anything. But seeing how we went over the allotted time, the year, then we have to pay $500 per permit, comes
Yes.
out to $2,500.
Right.
Is that something that we should be paying, or is that something that you should be paying?
Well, the delays in getting us to where we are now are the cities. In other words, my plans were submitted, they were approved. There was a lot of final easement issues, there were documents, there were that sort of stuff. So, and it's a city project.
Well, if you'd have turned in the extension before the time elapsed, it had nothing to do with us. That was on you to extend the permits. That's not on us. That's on our engineer. We didn't hold that up. That was something that you should have known in advance, that you needed to renew these permits. That's nothing on us. That's why we pay you the good money to know these rules.
I think the permit, it's stated on the permit that it's good for 1 year.
Yes, sir.
So if you exceed 1 year, then you got to put a new one in. So if you go to 11 months and you submit another one, then we would have to submit a brand new one rather than trying to renew the one they had, because it has a time limit on it.
Yes, but if we would have renewed it, if we'd have extended it, it wouldn't have cost us $500 a permit. And if we'd have let it go further, it would have cost us back to the $15,000.
Have you had some conversation with
Yes,
the
sir.
railroad about this?
Yeah, I've done a lot of research on it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And as an engineer for us, and we pay you to keep up with this stuff. We don't know anything about engineering. We don't know anything about permits, and that's what we pay you to do. And I don't think it ought to cost our citizens $2,500 because we didn't renew a contract. You know, I mean, all we had to do was just say, hey, we need an extension. It's not a renewal, it's just an extension. It went further. That's all we had to do. And it wouldn't have cost us anything. But negligence on that, I got an 8th grade education, and I come to figure out that it only lasted a year. And this is something that I think falls on y'all's shoulders. I think the $2,500 falls on y'all's shoulders, not our citizens.
But if that's the way the council in general feels about it, if you take a vote, you say, send Johnny the bill for that, you're welcome to do that. I have never paid that before, and I've had many projects that have gone past the time, not by 1 year, but by several years. So I do a project, I prepare everything I'm supposed to prepare. The city, it takes them longer to do their stuff than what they thought it would, and then it comes back to me for the delay. Who's paying me because I'm having to redo stuff that has expired because the city didn't get the job done?
We are already paying you to know what to do. That we're not in the engineering field. We don't do this every single day.
I think that's two different questions, because he's talking about
Yeah,
different things than what you're talking about.
The rural development puts out their standard documents that says these are the documents you have to use. Periodically, they update those, make a bunch of changes, and we got to make all the changes to the documents. We published the documents 2 years ago, so we've been having to go back through and redo that, and we've done it. And it wasn't our fault. It's because the city didn't get their stuff done.
What would we have had to do to, would we have to go and renew these, to get an extension on these permits? Is that on us? And we don't know about it. If you've done this in the past, this should have been something that's on your list. Hey, we need to renew these permits or extend them because it's going to follow in that guidelines. I know how to work on a 350 Chevrolet. I don't know anything about permits. I really don't. But I think it's on y'all.
We can put this on the next agenda.
I understand your position, and I'll contemplate it.
All right, what we can do on this, we can put this on the next agenda and do a vote on that, okay? Mr. Wiggins?
Okay, from my understanding on this, you're saying that it's the city's fault because we didn't have our ducks in a row, so to speak, is a reason that we didn't meet the time frame. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on our side, Kent, are you aware of, did we do that? Did we not meet our time frame?
We did not meet the deadline for the renewal of the Union Pacific crossing permits. So now, as far as the agreement goes, who's responsible, whether that be the engineer or the city, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. We'd have to investigate the matter a little bit further and see if the agreement mentions that at all.
Okay, but I guess my question is, was the delay on our part? You don't know?
I couldn't answer that for you,
Okay.
sir. I mean, there was a lot going on throughout the last year, and I certainly was not aware.
I know you wasn't here the whole time.
Sure.
so-
I have a question, Mr. Wiggins. Are you talking about the delay on our side that we didn't get the paperwork done in time?
Yes, that
Okay.
caused his delay
Yeah, okay.
in getting this done, is what I'm
Did we
saying.
cause
is-
him to have a delay in doing
Yes.
his job? Is what
Did you
you're
know
asking.
that we
That's what
needed to extend the
Sometimes I
permit?
have to ask in plain English to get it in my old
Did-
brain.
Did you know that we needed to extend the permits, to get an extension on them?
I really didn't think about it at the time because we had the permits, we had to get approval of the permits, they had to be sent to USDA. We got that done.
Have you ever filed for extension for a permit?
Never.
All right, we'll put this probably on the next agenda. Ken, if you can put that down there, we'll try to bring that up in December. We'll give us time to do some research and check the documents and stuff.
Okay,
If-
I'll make a motion if.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we put this on our next agenda for December 21st meeting, and for Kent and staff to check on and see if the delay that was on our part that caused Johnny to have to file for the extension.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, Mr. McGurr, second that. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
We'll do some research and,
Last item on my report is the
Uh-huh.
TCEQ discharge permit
Okay,
for a
great.
plant that doesn't exist yet, but we got a permit for And it expired. And the city is currently waiting on final public comment period of their intent to obtain the permit. I assume that's where you still are.
Yes, sir. We've submitted all the affidavits, the TCQ for all the publishments, and the records are still out there posted for public viewing.
Yes.
They will probably send the city the renewed permit. So if I don't happen to get it, would you make sure I get a copy of it?
Absolutely, sir.
And I'll do the same. If they
Okay.
send it to me for some reason,
Send it to us. Yes, sir. Thank you.
I will let you know.
All right, we appreciate you. We have a question on the floor. State your name and your question, please.
Rick Edmiston. My question is, once these contracts have been awarded, will the city or the people of Bruceville-Eddy be able to look at the plans for the installation of this sewer system?
Johnny, did you hear the question? He wants to know if the citizens of Bruceville-Eddy.
I heard it.
Okay, all right.
Which is why I went through the presentation in the beginning of this about CIVCAST, www.civcastusa.com is a website that you can go to, and there are thousands of plans on there. So all you got to do is type in the city name, and information on the plans and specifications will come up.
Okay.
There is, if you want to look at the plans, then there's actually you have to enter your name, who you represent, but there's no cost.
Okay,
And
good.
then you can look at all that information right now, as soon as it gets published, which will be on the 21st.
Okay, thank you.
But the rest of the story is, after that, when we get down to actually awarding the contract, then there will be multiple sets of plans to the city, given to the city, that you can look at, paper form, full size, whichever one you want to look at.
And any citizen is welcome to come up here and look at any of our maps, any of our stuff that we have that is public record, anytime. You just need to come up and let them know who you are, and someone will take you back to the back room. Okay? Mr. Wiggins, Councilman.
Is this something that these plans that we can put on our website under our sewer section, and it'll bring up the plans, and that way everyone will have the opportunity to look at it if they so deem?
I'm going to recommend that you don't do that.
Okay.
And the reason,
And why?
And the
Okay.
reason is because in order for a bidder to get any addendums, if somebody calls in and says, hey, this word's misspelled, or hey, you
Okay.
got the wrong this, then I will issue an addendum to correct that before it bids.
That takes longer.
And if somebody has pulled the plans up and not signed up and doesn't go back and check it, they won't know that. So all the communication that I make with the bidders is through that website, as does thousands of other engineers. So they're all published on that website.
Okay, clarification on that then. And what I mean is, once the bid is awarded, then the plan is more or less kind of final, I'll say.
And you're going to have paper
Okay.
sets of plans
Okay,
that you can go through and find
Okay.
your address and your street number, if that's what somebody wants to do. Look at the wastewater plant, you can look at any of it.
okay,
So for bidding purposes, we do it this way.
right,
So that if somebody has a question and they ask a question about the project, then everybody on the website that has plans for that project will see that question. And then I will answer that question. If it's a simple answer, like look on page 27,
right,
then I will answer it that way. If it's a question that requires an addendum modifying the bidding documents, then I will issue one, and everybody that signed up for these plans will get that. So every bidder that has the opportunity to have equal information as every other bidder.
okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else have any more questions? Mrs. McGruer, Councilman? McLaughlin. I said McGruer.
She's down
I
there.
was looking at.
She's down there.
I was looking at McGruer.
Okay, I don't have a question.
Councilwoman McLaughlin.
But perhaps we could put this website on our website. I gotta get used to this mic.
Yeah.
Yes, and
And make it available for the citizens to see it and use it that way instead of having to put
yes, ma'am.
the plans, the actual plans on there.
That's fine with me. I mean,
We've already done that. It is actually on the bid notice on our website. You can click that, bring that up, and click the CivCast.
and the plan,
Good point.
and the contract documents and plans are not there yet, and they won't be till the first day of advertisement. But that's exactly the way to do it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anyone else have any more questions? If not, that's all we need, sir. Thank you very much, and y'all have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Johnny.
Community Development Report on Thomas Arnold, by Thomas Arnold.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Community Development Report for October 2023. For code enforcement, we started the month with 67 active cases. I closed 12 of those, but then I turned around and opened 13 new ones for a total of 68 currently. I had 11 office visits to discuss cases, and I had 8 verbal notices or door hangers. Those office visits also include, they could have been talking about, I didn't split up whether they were talking about permits or whether they were talking about code enforcement. I did not issue any citations for the month of October. Number and types of cases that I closed: 3 rubbish, 8 high grass and weeds, and 1 no permit. Number and types of cases that I opened: 5 rubbish, 6 high grass and weeds, and 2 no permits. Number of permits issued and type: we had 13 permits issued, 1 accessory building, 2 garage sale, 1 mechanical HVAC, 2 flat work, 1 roof, 1 new single-family residence, 4 burn, and 1 electrical. Inspections, we had a total of 10 inspections, 1 electrical, and 4 burn, 1 roof, 1 accessory building, 1 HVAC, which is also mechanical, and 2 flat work. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I was at, I'm not going to give the lady's name because she asked me not to, but I was at the restaurant today, and she wanted me to ask why we still had 50-something open cases. They were old cases. She said every month she listens, and
Right.
it's still 50-something cases.
Currently,
so I told her I didn't know.
I'm working with a lot of people as whatever their issue is. I work with them. Some people are slower. They got a bigger problem. But there's constant improvement on their cases. So instead of writing them a ticket, I'm working with them.
Okay. Well, she's listening, so she'll.
Yep. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you,
Any
sir.
other questions for Mr. Thomas Arnold?
All right,
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
ya.
Appreciate you. This is his day off, and he showed up for this meeting, so thank you. Okay. City administrator,
I wanted to say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
We have 3 dogs that need a home. They need a home bad. So they're wonderful. Yes, ma'am.
okay, I was going to, after you
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah, I was going to say they're great dogs. Come down, come meet them. If anybody wants to adopt them, their time's about to expire.
Yeah, they are wonderful animals, and I have been on the horn all week with different places from Dallas, Texas to Austin, from close to Louisiana down that way, that direction, almost Wichita Falls, Texas, trying to find places. I got a hold of 2, one in Marlin, and they're working towards me. The lady was supposed to call me today, but she fell and broke her arm. And then the lady in Mahia, she has the largest no-kill rescue center from Dallas to Austin, and she said, hang on, don't do anything to that. I'm going to find them homes. So I've got some prospects, and we've been posting Facebook left and right, and every time I go to a restaurant or a store, I talk about it. I mean, it was put over into me, and so I decided I'm going to get busy on it. So we are working on it, and Thomas, we've been working. We're going to try our best to get these babies a home. Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right, we'll move right along. Okay, consent agenda. All items listed on the. Did I miss one? Oh, I don't want to hear your report. I don't want to hear your report.
You certainly have that option if you'd like to skip me.
Okay, all right, Kent Manton and his city administrator's report.
I will make it brief. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. So a few updates for you. The first one here, City Attorney update. Nicole Warren, our municipal prosecutor and associate city attorney, has left Messer Fort for other opportunities. Megan Braw has been brought in to serve in conjunction with Brad Bullock and will begin transitioning into the role as our new municipal prosecutor over the next coming months. The Chapter 54 case, the status update on that one is still the same as last month. We're hoping that the PI working on that can track down the other deed signer for the manufactured home and move this along without any additional pushing from the city. Renee Bates auction. So a couple notes on this one. If you haven't checked out the website, we've got 6 items posted up on there. The auction will close for our surplus goods on December the 7th. Mm-hmm. We've got a vehicle. We got some additional supplies on there. I think we've got a old speaker system. So that's ongoing. We actually have a few bids. So a few of our items were already got a foot out the door. And then on another note on the public auction front, last year the topic of selling 115 Hungry Hill Road was brought up, and I have begun the process of working to prep the documents to bring this to public auction. This property has remained vacant since 2015. The title search has come back clean, and the next step will be to order a survey on the property. There's a lot more legal steps that are involved with the selling of real estate by a city. So we're just making sure that we're taking our time, consulting with our attorneys, and following all these steps correctly. Grant updates. So briefly on this one, the Community Development Block Grant funding from Texas Department of Agriculture for the water line project between 3rd and 4th Street. We haven't heard anything back from them on that. We did get an update from our grant administrator on this one, and he said, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of money awarded to Hot Cog region. And with that, we actually kind of fell in the middle of the pack as far as the eligibility on the candidates. So we've got several people in front of us. We might not be funded, but there's still whole another year in this cycle where we could hear some information. And then secondly, on the TxDOT Transportation Alternatives Grant for the sidewalk project that was being proposed between Eddy and up here at the school district and the city hall, we were informed that we were not selected for that project. So that one is now off the table. Okay, any questions on any of that stuff before I move into the sewer system? Nope.
No, sir.
Seeing none. Okay, the sewer system. So as everybody is aware at this point, we have moved on to the bidding phase. It's a significant milestone. It's one that we've been, celebrating here on a low key. As city staff, it was a big win. We're gonna save all the formal celebration until we get much further down the road. I'm hoping maybe a ribbon cutting ceremony or something like that when the pipe is actually in the ground and the wastewater treatment plant is up and running. So we've got some more hurdles to get through here. As I've continued to mention, yes, we're at the bidding phase of this, but we've still got a shortfall. The estimates in 2020 were about 15 million. Our current loan and grant is only about 10 million. So as you can imagine, the last 3 years, costs have risen significantly. So we will be doing our best to consult with Pete Sessions' office for maybe appropriations funding, check with USDA, see if we can get some additional grant funding with them. That would be ideal. We want to make sure that the rates that we're going to be offering to our citizens are reasonable and sustainable for everybody. And we're doing our best to make sure that happens. So BVRT was one of the alternatives we were looking at for the sewer system. They are no longer in the picture at this point. They did mention that they would like to consider potential options in the future should something not work out for USDA. They tried their best to really kind of come up with a way to make sure everybody, all players, all party members got a win out of this, and it wasn't financially feasible once they performed some more due diligence on what it would look like to service our community. So right now we're just kind of falling back on the USDA loan as our sole next step forward. So, and then lastly on this note, I just did want to personally put it out there and thank Bruceville-Eddy ISD Superintendent, Mr. Richard Kilgore, and the Board of Trustees. They were gracious enough to let us use their facility for the December 19th bid opening. That'll be at 11 a.m. Anybody is welcome to attend that. I know there's quite a few people who might be anticipating that event, and we just wanted to make sure that we had an adequate space to be able to handle all the contractors and potential guests for this event. Okay, on the next one here on our water system. So on Friendly Oaks, SKE is the electrical engineer that we hired, or that council hired, to perform the investigative work on what keeps happening at our well site. So as of 11/14, I did reach out to Don with SKE, and he did not have any updates to relay, so this project is ongoing. On a separate matter, we did receive that violation notice from the Texas Railroad Commission on the striking incident from about a year ago. So we did perform or attend the safety course to mitigate that docket, and the docket has since been dismissed. So that matter is case closed.
May I say something? I was just going to let the citizens know, if y'all need water, we have some back there on that back table and some over here on this table if anybody needs any water. I forgot to do that at the beginning and let y'all know y'all are welcome to water.
Are you trying to say I'm dry, Mayor? Is that what's going on?
No,
Everybody?
here, I need you to take a drink.
Thank you so much. Okay, so just to kind of keep everybody in the loop, I did let council know that we have initiated investigations and enforcement on 5 potential unauthorized connections on our water system. So the goal of this enforcement is really straightforward. We're trying to comply with the Texas Administrative Code and the TCEQ's established guidelines in order to properly protect the health and safety of our existing water customers. So the reasons behind this rule, and this is me interpreting TCEQ's reasoning for their promulgation of these rules, but they're twofold. One, these rules properly account for the expected water usage that we have in our system, and it allows us to design a system that will deliver water with the adequate pressure to everybody who is on those lines. Two, when additional users tag on and they're using more than one residence per meter, or piggybacking as it's sometimes referred to on existing meters, that increases demand on the system. So what does that look like? How does that play out? Well, let's say you've got a dead end line, and we have several instances of piggybacking on that, unauthorized connections. Everybody gets home from work, everybody starts turning on their shower, they turn on their washing machines, and the water starts being pulled in by those customers. Well, down here at the end of the line, you've got a house without adequate backflow protection on it, and you've got a hose sticking inside of a koi pond. Well, the extra demand pulling from all the extra customers that are on that system when the line sizes aren't properly adjusted for all those extra folks can actually create a negative pressure or siphoning event where that koi pond water could potentially go into the water lines and thereby cause contamination. It could potentially introduce some bacteria that could harm neighbors, could cause a whole situation where we have to go in and completely sanitize our water system and cut everybody off of the water. So that's what we're trying to protect against, and that's, I think, the reasoning behind those rules. So a few residents that have received these letters of unauthorized connection have requested reconsideration from our city attorney's office due to their personal extenuating circumstances. To date, each of those requests have been denied because the city cannot grant consent for an action that is inconsistent with state law, and therefore we do not have the authority to subjugate. We are working to overcome some of the issues that these residents are facing and are continuing to hold conversations on alternative solutions for those who are willing to speak with us. It should be noted that in some cases there are few, if any, options, as most of these illegal water connections are in areas that are currently maxed out on the number of connections allowed per line size, or due to other infrastructure limitations such as pumping or storage capacity. One authorized connection is even located in an area where council has decreed a water meter moratorium. So with that being said, I'm happy to share any additional information on this matter by request. Are there any questions at this
Are
time?
there any questions at this time?
Okay,
no, sir.
last items on here, Infrastructure Planning Committee. So that was a successful meeting last week. Design for Phase 1 improvements, which are totaling about $1.1 million in Falls County, are underway. I expect to have council some of those documents MRB is finalizing. Phase 2, we're going to be taking that to the potential developer that's out in Falls County and seeing if they're willing to split some of the costs with us on that one, because that project is $1.8 million estimated. The Street Repair Committee, we met on Monday. We have sent a list of streets that we think are priorities to the county for a quote, so we're just waiting to hear back on that. And then lastly, I've got the development updates, and the only one I really wanted to touch base on, unless council has any other questions, is K-Bar. Eagle Ranch is finalizing their comments. The MRB group has said that they've cleaned up pretty much everything. They're just waiting on some drainage detention plans that need to be submitted. And then with that, we are just waiting on the probable deed restrictions to finalize the preliminary plat submission. We might be seeing that here at our December meeting or maybe in a meeting in January.
Okay, is there any questions for the city administrator on what he just talked about? Okay, no, sir, I don't think so. Thank you very much for your report. Now, we can go on to the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be considered by the city council and will be enacted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items unless a council member or a member of the public so request. A, approval of the minutes. B, write off bad debt. C, renewal of agreement for professional services. And that's it, 3 of them. Do we have anybody that wants anything pulled out? No? Okay. Then, anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as listed in the minutes.
Second.
Okay. Now, who seconded that? Mr. Griffin. Thank you, gentlemen. All in favor? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you. You're going to have to be patient with me because I keep saying gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I'll get that there. Number 12, selection of Mayor Pro Tem Pro's council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action to select a Mayor Pro Tem for 2023-2024. The Mayor Pro Tem, commonly known as the Mayor Pro Tem, presides over council members in the mayor's absence. On this, I have a recommendation that we take in consideration Mr. McGruer. That's my recommendation. Does anyone else have any other recommendations?
Is anybody else interested in it?
Anybody else interested in it that would like to do it?
No, you ever heard me read?
Well, you hear me every time. I did get a compliment from a citizen one time, and this gentleman told me, said, I want to thank you for being the mayor. You have been one of the best mayors that we have had, but you just can't read. So I said, thank you. But anyway, but he meant it in a good way, but because I do mispronounce words. And I tell people that when I first came here, I promise you I'm going to misspell something. I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but I'm trying my best. So, but anyway, nobody else wants it? Okay. Okay. Somebody want to make
I'll make a motion,
motion? Okay, Mr.
that
Prater?
we
Mr. Prater
nominate
made a motion.
Mr. McGruer
Okay,
for.
and Mr. Griffin seconds it. Okay, thank you. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. You will get your new sign also, sir, in a couple of weeks. All right?
Here's your sign.
Here's your sign. Agreement for, and that wasn't my quote, that was Mr. Prater's quote. I just said it louder. 13, agreement for interlocal corporation. Council discuss, consider, and possibly take action to approve the mayor, city administrator, and chief of police to enter into a interlocal corporation agreement with the city of Troy for the purpose of providing mutual aid through their law enforcement agencies. Chief, you have something you would like to say on that or anything, or what this is about?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, earlier this year, we did enter into a interlocal agreement with, well, it was a multi-agency interlocal agreement with most of our surrounding law enforcement agencies in like the McLean County area. But this is in addition to that, but it's a separate interlocal agreement, but it's it'll be between us, the Bruceville-Eddy Police Department, and Troy Police Department. It's the same, the agreement reads identical to the other interlocal
Okay.
that we got approved earlier this year. So I did speak to the Troy Police Chief. His name's Jeremy Gooch. So we spoke earlier this year, and he thought it'd be a good idea for us to have an interlocal agreement. That way we could call upon one another in the case of a mutual aid situation. We worked together and got this. We had a few little tweaks we had to do to it, but I went ahead and gave a copy of this to them, and they went ahead and got it approved, and all the signatures on their behalf have been done. That was done the middle of last month. So in my mind, I thought it'd be better to go ahead and get them to approve it on their end before I brought it to council. So just leave it up to y'all for approval.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the chief on this, on us entering with Troy? Okay, well, would someone like to make a motion for this?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Griffin, okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, and Mr. McGruer. That we enter into, approve the mayor and the city administrator and the chief of police to enter into a interlocal corporation agreement with the city of Troy for the purpose of providing mutual aid through their law enforcement agencies. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you all.
Okay. Police Chief's annual evaluation. Council discuss, consider, and possibly take action on setting up a date and time to meet with the chief to present and discuss distributed performances evaluation. Okay, anybody have any questions about this? No.
Well, Mayor, I'll just say last year, I think the process kind of went something like this. The evaluations were passed out to council here, and then we set up a time for myself and the mayor, I think it was, to sit down with chief and just kind of review those and talk
Yes,
about
okay.
performance adjustments.
So we want to make a motion to do that again this year? Or do we need to do that, or do we just go ahead and?
We can, I just kind of wanted to put that out there for
Oh, okay.
background or
Just for background.
suggestion.
Okay, good.
Council
Okay.
can kind of
If
leave
there's
that
no
up to their
suggestions
discretion.
and stuff, we'll just move on. Okay? Yes, Chief?
I think, yeah, the last 2 years, it was around this time, close to the end of the year, getting the evaluations out. This year, I did make one addition. It is going out to the mayor and all the council members, Ms. McLaughlin included, if she'd like to participate. But I also wanted to include Mr. Manton in my evaluation, because we communicate almost on a daily basis, and we work together on a lot of things, so I would appreciate some feedback from him as well. But I do look forward to these evaluations, and just ask that y'all fill them out, and just whatever we're doing good and whatever we can improve on. I definitely, read, listen to what y'all have to say and take it to heart. And
Oh, yes, sir.
and so I just appreciate y'all taking the time to fill them out, and we'll go over them. And
Sounds good, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
So-
Mr. Minton.
Council, if y'all, unless y'all protest on this one, if you would, just turn your evaluations in. If you'd like to submit those to me, I'll kind of compile all those, and I'll get with the mayor and set up a date to discuss.
Y'all have an evaluation in your packet.
I think Mr. Griffin needs one because
Oh, you need
he's
one,
on the.
Mr. Griffin?
He's on the.
Yeah, I need
Hang on.
I can print it off at home, whatever you want.
Okay, I gotta find it, but I'll get it to you, Mr. Griffin.
All right.
All right, moving right along.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief, I appreciate you. Bruceville-Eddy, EDC, Revolution Appointing Director. Council discuss, consider, and possibly take action on Resolution 11-15-2023-1, appointing a director to the Bruceville-Eddy Economic Development Corporation, amending the certificate of formation of the corporation by the addition of said appointee.
Thank you, Mayor. So at last council meeting, I was directed to get with Mr. Bass and get his nominee for the EDC. We have a question back there, Pam.
What team are y'all not going to vote
Vote on it.
anything?
They're just gonna pass over. No, he said
Not
we
necessarily.
probably
You can
didn't
just
need
say
it.
no action taken.
Just no action.
No formal action. The nominee, Mr. Bass, presented to council tonight is Mr. Darren Weaver. So we do just need to do this through a resolution. So you'll see up here on your screen, you've got all the green names are the ones that have currently been selected to serve on the EDC. And then Mr. Darren Weaver there would take place number 7 on the EDC.
Pass this down to Mr. Griffin, please.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Councilman Wiggins, you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 11-15-2023-1.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, 16, office personnel salary adjustment. Council discuss, consider, and possibly take action to temporarily adjust the pay rate of certain office personnels to provide compensation for increased work responsibilities. Right now, as we do not have a court clerk, she moved on. See this face? And she moved on. So Laura is taking, she's got all of the water department and helping with the court. Esther has, excuse me, has her regular work, plus she's working court. So those two ladies are really having to work hard. Pam's coming in also to help at the water department. I do it a little bit, not much. Of course, I know y'all don't want to give me no 26 cents a week raise, so I'm going to have to pass. So I can't afford that, so never mind. Now, all jokes aside, these ladies work really, really hard, and they are trying so hard to take care of all the citizens of Bruceville-Eddy. So that's what this is for. You have any questions? Mr. Wiggins, Councilman Wiggins?
Okay, from what I understood that, I know you throw Pam in there, from what I understood that mainly Esther was taking over the court duties, and then now that Danielle is gone, she was helping in the water, and Danielle is doing the water and trying to train for the court also. Is that right?
That'd be Laura, yes, sir.
Laura, I'm
Yes,
sorry. Yes, yeah. And I would like to see that the money that we was paying Danielle, I'd like to see that split between them. And I think Esther, what about Esther and Laura? Splitting the money between them are two doing the most work in that, right? Split, or you tell me who's doing it.
You're putting me on the hot seat here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pam, she serves in the water department on a very regular basis. She's certainly been stepping up to help out the best she can with the absence of Danielle. But I would say that the bulk of it, the bulk of the extra burden has landed on Laura and Esther.
Right, right. Well, and I know Pam is well worth it, but I know her plate is full in there handling that city secretary job. So that said, I mean, I don't have no problem. Let's split the money between Esther and Laura until such time as someone is hired and then they begin working.
Okay, that's very nice. Thank you, Mr. Wiggins. Anybody else have any comments on that? All right, can we have do we need a motion for this? That is your motion.
Yes,
That is your
ma'am.
motion. Anybody want to second that, that the money
That'll be my
that Danielle was drawing will be split between Laura and Esther?
I'll second.
Until someone is hired and has been trained a little.
Yep, Cecil has something.
Cecil?
So Pam's not getting any of it?
We'll buy her lunch.
Buy
No, no, she's, no, he just wants to split it between the two, sir.
Because she's doing because these two are doing the bulk of the work, and even, I mean, Kent kind of stated that too. I mean, I don't think Pam has much time. Family's really busy. She don't have much time to go from her office. If you've ever been back there in her office, then you know that she's constantly on that computer or on the phone doing something. So it's not like she has much time to leave her office and go up here in the water department, you know.
All right,
But
we have a question on
anyway.
the audience. Yes, ma'am?
My name is Cindy Edmiston. I see her now sitting at the computer,
Yes.
taking over tonight. She doesn't have the time, but she might have to be allocating some of the time that she doesn't have, so I don't want her to be slighted, even if it's not a third. It could be the bulk and the lion's share to Laura and Esther, but maybe carve out just a little bit so that she can have
A sliver.
continued great
Well,
attitude for being
Right.
compensated for the time that she is being asked to be pulled away from what she's already too busy to do.
What would be thirds?
What would be a third of it?
Yeah.
Well, we don't discuss.
Well,
salary
I mean-
Oh, yeah,
to the-
yeah.
you know.
Well, it's public record.
Well, I don't think it's a good idea to,
Yeah, it's not.
yeah, but I mean,
Well, Mr.
if
Prater, to
y'all,
speak to you on that one, I couldn't
Yeah,
even
we-
tell you off the top of my head.
Yeah, we
Right.
have to look it up anyway, but.
yeah.
But Pam has, I mean, I try to help when I can, but here lately, it seems like I've been going to a lot of meetings. We're having a lot of stuff going, so I used to help there. And then Gene, if he's in and if he's, you know, we say, oh, she'll say, Laura, you know, hey, I need to go to the back for a second to the ladies' room or something, and she'll want Gina said, I got this, and if not, Pam's up there. I mean, Pam's up there quite a bit.
I'm
You
gonna
know.
pull my second off that.
Okay.
I don't want
Okay,
to second
all right.
that.
Okay.
All right, so we have no second on that. So anybody want to make a different motion?
Okay, I'll revise my motion then
Okay.
let's split it between the three. Yeah.
I'll second that.
Yeah. I mean, I know Pam's here, but Pam's here every meeting, ma'am.
Yes.
And she gets paid for every meeting she attends here.
Yeah, she's usually here doing the minutes, but
That'd
she's
be
back
fair.
there now doing the computer and minutes. So Mr. Wiggins made the motion, and Mr. Prater seconded that the salary we were paying our court clerk / water clerk will be split between Esther, Laura, and Pam
Until such
Someone's-
time as we hire someone.
until such time someone is hired.
Yeah.
And Mayor, just point of information here on this one.
Okay.
So this is going to be retroactive from when the employee left, or would this
Yes.
be starting
Yes,
as of today?
retroactive from when the
left.
employee left.
Okay, let me write that down.
That's good.
Okay. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. You're going to have to be patient with me on that, on gentlemen all the time. Friendly Oaks and West Ridge Water Plant, repair to groundwater well. Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action to address electrical and mechanical issues at the Friendly Oaks Water Plant site and the West Ridge Water Plant site that has resulted in their inoperable, including the approval of any needed repairs and related expenditures. All right, any questions on that? Okay, Mr. Matten, you have something to say about that?
I don't have much to say about that tonight, Mayor. I wanted to make sure this was included on the agenda just in case we did receive some sort of report from our electrical engineer so we could have that discussion. I'm certainly open to answering any questions, but other than what I had in the city administrator's report, I don't have much
Okay.
additional to offer to you tonight.
Anyone have any questions? Okay. If not, do we have a motion?
Just take none.
Just say none? Just say none? Just go ahead and
No
go
action
with it.
taken.
Okay, no action taken today. All right. Number 18. Cast ballots for candidates to the Fall County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Council to discuss, consider, and possibly take action on Resolution 11-15-2023-2, voting on candidates to the Fall County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
Mayor, this is our last item on the agenda for the evening. This is similar to the MCAD nominations that were voted on at the last meeting. The city of Bruceville-Eddy has 3 votes to disperse amongst the candidates. The term will begin on January 1st, 2024. They can apply more than 1 vote per candidate or none at all. The nominees are Jesse Martinez, Shirley Melton, and Linda Mitchell.
All right. Do we have any?
I couldn't find anything.
You can't find anything on any of them? Okay, does anybody else have anything, or do we just want to fill it out? Give us to us what y'all filled out?
Well,
Okay, Councilman Wiggins?
okay. I don't have anything against them. Don't know them and don't know if anybody up here does. You know, if you do, you better speak up. So with that said, I'll approve resolution number 11-15-2023-2, nominating those 3, Mr. Martinez, Melton, and Mitchell, Miss Mitchell, for the our 3 votes to cast.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
sounds great. Okay, anyone else? Got a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Prater made the second motion. All in favor of accepting those 3? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, number 19. Miss Pam, I'm sorry.
Just for y'all's information, they started doing the light work on the building today.
Yes.
I seen them up here.
Yes, they did. And thank you, Miss Pam, for doing that.
I move we adjourn.
Okay, Mrs.
I'll second.
Mrs. McLaughlin made a motion. Councilman McLaughlin made a motion that we adjourn, and Mr. Prater seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 7:29, and this meeting is closed. Thank you, and y'all have